On the table is my Mil-Spec 1911 and my CZ75B. In this video, I'm going to compare the two platforms. I like to rotate what I shoot at the range, and I rotate which 1911 and which CZ75B I use. And these are the two models of each category that I bought. And these are two of the most popular platforms. The other would be like Glock or Beretta 92, for example, when I mean platforms. So 1911 can also mean 2011 for most people. It's just a different caliber with double stack magazine. But I think some of the issues with the older design, the CZ75B beats it, especially the way that the slide fits into the frame. Everybody talks about lowering the bore axis, but what that really does is it lines up the barrel with your wrist. So when you're pointing, you've got your wrist bone, you kind of align everything with the sights and everything. I think it better aligns where the recoil is going to be with how your arm is lined up. That's what I think the bore axis thing really does. And it balances the weight better, right? One of the things with the 1911 is how thick and heavy the slide is. The reciprocating mass is not a big deal with the 45 caliber. It has a 230 grain pill. It's got more than enough oomph to do the blowback action. But when you have it in 9mm, that's one of the issues with the 2011s is the cycling ability, because the way that the slide is designed, it's so top heavy. And even though these are both all metal hammer fired pistols, the weight distribution is just not the same. So even when the magazines are loaded, single stack versus double stack, obviously the vast difference in capacity, it still doesn't balance out the weight. So I like the CZ75 platform a little bit better than the 1911 platform because of the way that the slide is designed. Now, there are some disadvantages to using one or the other, but I think in general, I like the 75B because I think it's easier to acquire, number one, cost-wise, for what you get quality, and the equivalent in 1911 or 2011 is much more expensive. So this is the base model of each manufacturer. You can get this for say $500, but this one's still going to be more, $600. They used to be a lot less, but the cost of everything keeps going up. So now 1911 money, even at the most basic entry level one, is over $600. So comparatively for what you get for the price, I think you get a little bit more value with the 75B. And, if you wanted a 2011, it's going to cost twice as much as this, even the entry level one, say like the Springfield Prodigy. So if you wanted a 9mm version of the 1911 or a 2011 with a double stack magazine, even the most entry level one is $1,200. So even though I'm an American and I love the John Moses Browning design, this has a lot of elements of the Browning design with a few twists. You can also get this with the decocker. It has the manual safety, but you can get the decocker version. And to take this apart is much more simple than the decocker version, but I haven't really taken and field stripped this one much further than this, to be honest. I've only, taken it apart to clean it, but I haven't taken any of the pins out or done anything like that with any of my 1911s. I don't think that there's as many, upgraded parts that I would want to do on this as much as with this. I think this is fine just the way it is because, it's the Mil-Spec. It's supposed to be basic. It's supposed to be just like that. You start dumping a bunch of money into it, it's kind of ruining the purpose of it. So it's as basic as it gets with the 7-round magazine. Parkerized finish, which it's okay, but it does have a little bit better traction than I would say some of the other finishes that are slick. So even though it doesn't have front slide serrations, you can still manipulate the slide from the front. And the trigger on these, even on the most basic one, look how short the reset is. So this is the most basic entry level one, and the trigger is awesome. So with a 1911, you can't go wrong with any of the triggers because right out of the factory, they're awesome. With this one, some of it, it's only like 5 pounds factory for the single action, double actions, like 10, maybe 11, something like that. But at the same time, you can manipulate some of the parts pretty easily. You just take the grip panels off, change the spring right here. There's no grip safety to mess with or anything. It's literally just pushing a pin out and, changing the spring. So I think this one is a little bit more simplified to work on, especially the manual safety version. The Dekaker one, a little bit more complicated, but at the same time, you can still figure it out, and there's plenty of tutorial videos to do. This one I've done some of the Cajun Gunworks stuff to it, and it's a little bit more than factory with night sights. This one's completely basic, but I do have a fun time taking this apart and putting it together because it's kind of a challenge, but it's not impossible. With the 1911, I don't really know if I would ever mess around and change the parts on any of them. I think that I bought them that way just as they are. So for some reason, I kind of see these as they just come the way they are, and I'm not going to mess with them. I'm not going to mess with the sights. I'm not going to mess with the controls or anything. The only thing I changed is the grip panels, which were like 20 bucks, and it's just because they said US on them, so it kind of gave it the World War II look, and it matches my 1903 Springfields. So I've got the classic 1903 Springfield with the walnut finish on the nice stock. And then here we got these grips, pretty nice. Period correct look. Some of the things that I dislike about the 75B though is the magazines here. Even though it's a nice double stack magazine, I don't really like this little lip that it has on it. I think that's kind of stupid. It is annoying, I think. It does fit flush, which is fine, but it's kind of got some snag to it. I don't really like that. But they are nice metal quality magazines, 16 rounds. But the witness holes, leave something to be desired. I like it when they're in the back. It's easier to see than it's one on the side. With the 1911, you only have 7 rounds, so it's, pretty easy to count. Also, the lack of, front slide serrations and the thinness on the slide, it makes it harder to manipulate the slide, but it's not impossible. But it does have some, less than ideal grip surface compared to other pistols, but that's also one of the benefits of the design too, because of the lowering of the bore axis and the better balance in the weight when the magazine is inserted. I really like the pointability of it. It's kind of got that curved look to it instead of being bulky or square like a Glock. Some people may not like that. I didn't really like the grip on a Beretta, but I do like the 75 series grip angle a little bit better. Some people are super Beretta fans, but I didn't really like it. I like the 75 series a lot better. But the grip on a 1911 is naturally pretty thin because it's a single stack magazine, and you can change the scales to make, the grip thinner or thicker. But I wish that, they would delete the grip safety. Obviously the mil spec, it's got to be there, but with anyone other than the mil spec, if I was a 1911 manufacturer, I would delete the grip safety because it already has a manual safety. So what do you need a redundant safety system for? This was done as part of the military request, I believe, anyway. So this is period correct, but all the other ones, why does it still have it? Has anybody asked that question? Why do we still have the grip safety on a 1911? But, you can tape it down. I think there's ways that some of them you can actually pin it down, but I don't have any issues with using it. It's just an unnecessary feature. I do like a lot of the grip angle on the 1911. It fits my hand really well because I have small hands, but the issue is the mass of the slide for me. With a 1911 and 45, I have a hard time controlling the recoil because of my small hands. So I kind of move my thumb up a little bit higher to help mitigate the recoil a little bit better. So when I put my thumb straight here with the controls, it like slides and slips, and then that kind of rubs against the slide lever stop here, so it's kind of uncomfortable. So I do kind of like to put my grip a little bit different for the 1911 as opposed to the CZ75. This does have a little bit more fun factor to it too, because the bullets that it shoots are a lot bigger and heavier, and it puts huge holes as the paper as opposed to the little pinholes. But 10 cents difference per round makes a huge impact, so you're not able to shoot as much of the 1911 and 45 as you are as in the 9mm platform. And if you wanted to acquire this platform in 9mm, the minimum entry in the market right now is, $1,200 or more. Even those platypus ones, those aren't cheap. Those are over $1,000, even the most basic one. And then you start adding all the customizing stuff and the price goes way up. So what you want for quality, for cost, It's a better value, I think, for the CZ75. Not as good a value, but it is a proven platform. It's really awesome. It's simple to take down, especially the ones that have the factory GI system. And you don't need that stupid little special plastic tool. You can use anything to just depress this and move this out of the way. You don't even need really a specialized tool. I use the Glock thing, the plastic thing that you use to put the, patches in to clean the barrel. That's all I used for it. So some of the things for the 1911, way more expensive, like the magazines. The 7-round ones, they're super cheap for some reason, but if you want an 8 or a 10-round one, then the price goes way up. You can get these Mec-Gar ones for good deals, like 25 bucks a piece or less. So you just got to watch out for them. They're good, high quality metal magazines too. But if I had to choose one, I'm going to rock with the 75 series just because I think you get a little bit better value. And I don't have deep pockets for, say the 9mm version of what the equivalent I have in the 75 series, like my Shadow 2. In order to get that equivalent quality in a 2011, that would cost at least probably $3,500. It would be like the one that PewView made. So that one out of the company in Texas that makes it, Watchtower or whatever it is. That would be one that would be like the entry one that I would want. That would be the equivalent to my Shadow 2 that I paid like $1,000 for. So there's no money like 2011 money. So better value, you get more capacity. I don't really know how hard it is to want to change parts with this, but I know with the 75 series, not that difficult. And there's plenty of tutorials online to do it because the way that the sear cage is designed, you can change the parts and change the springs and change some of the other things, so really increase the shooting experience. So it's a good basic platform to build on too. So I don't really know as much with the 1911 and the 2011 because of mainly the cost. So, you can do a lot more with this, especially with like Cajun Gun Works or the other companies that are similar. With this, the prices really go up with the parts. So if you look like a Wilson Combat parts, pretty spendy, but they will work and they'll be high quality. So it is available. It's just the cost for entry into the higher levels of this platform are way more expensive than this platform. And this is the kind of money that I have. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.